Hello, my Facebook friends. I'm back on Facebook. It was a horrible 6 weeks away for many different reasons. I woke up on July 20th, last 2 months ago, and tried to log into my Facebook, and it said, your account has been disabled. And it had someone else's name next to my picture. And I was like, what? Couldn't access my Facebook Messenger, couldn't sell furniture items, couldn't keep in contact with some of my friends, couldn't advertise Dr. Perrin's training workshop, which is coming up in January. And I truly thought I was never going to get my Facebook account back again. I thought I was going to be like many other unfortunate people on Facebook I hear about whose accounts get hacked and then disabled. And apparently that's what happened to me. And it was very frightening. I use my Facebook for a lot of stuff besides just posting inanities. So I did a little bit of research on Google, and there is absolutely no customer service for Facebook or Meta. There are some fake email addresses that you can find that perhaps they're real, but no one ever answers them. There's like 7 or 8 different email addresses. Facebook or Meta does not answer them. Of course, there's no phone number. And all the backdoor routes which were suggested to try to contact Meta support were futile, completely futile. I hired one company, paid them $360 to try and help me get my account back. They were terrible. They were terrible. They just kept coming up with these retarded solutions that didn't work. Not a single one of them worked. And basically, they wanted you to do all this work. They didn't do anything to help you. They would just give you more fake email addresses to write to, etc. So that didn't work. So I did some more research on Google, found another company, Hacks.com, paid them $99, and I actually got a conversation on the phone with a live human being who was very polite and well-mannered, and that went a long way for credibility with me. And that guy said that they've had a lot of success with people getting their Facebook accounts back through their local congressman's office. And my first reaction was, hell no, I'm not going to do that. That's insane. That is so far-fetched. Surely congressmen have better things to do than try to get back certain constituents' individual Facebook accounts. But I was mistaken. I went from telling the guy, there's no way I'm going to do that. That's insane. But he said, look, that's the only prayer you have of getting your Facebook account back. And we've actually had some success with Ted Lieu's office. That's what he said. He said that Congressman Ted Lieu, which is my district, my area, has been able to get back some people's Facebook accounts. And of course, we can't promise anything, but that is your best bet. So I called Ted Lieu's office, had to go through several different phone numbers to get the right place. Finally, one of the case managers did take my case, and it took him about 2 weeks to get my Facebook account back, which I got back 2 or 3 days ago. And I'm just overjoyed that I've not lost any of my contacts. I can start selling furniture again. I can advertise Dr. Perrin's training workshop on chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia. I haven't lost any of my contacts. And of course, I did a lot of praying during this time because I know bad things happen to all of us. And sometimes our knee-jerk reaction is, why me? Why is this happening to me? I hear about other people's accounts getting hacked on Facebook. We've all heard about that. Or people go to Facebook jail or whatnot. It's okay if it happens to other people, but when it happens to me, it's the worst thing ever. Well, guys, the question we should be asking is, why not me? Why not me? Bad things happen to everyone. The rain falls on the just and the unjust. And my boyfriend had to remind me that life is happening for us, not to us, which is a mantra that I live by. I had forgotten that. My knee-jerk reaction when something bad happens to me is to say, oh, this is bad. It hurts. I don't like it. It must be something bad. But God can take any bad situation and make something good come out of it. I am a firm believer in this. And so I was very upset for a couple of weeks, but then when my account was taken away, but then my thoughts went to, okay, what is there to be gained out of this? And this is a thought pattern I've trained myself to get into over the many years I've been ill. What is there to be gained out of this? Because I can look at quite a few of my adversities and seen where it pays off, seen where the prize is, the buried treasure. Why is treasure always buried? Because you have to dig for it. You have to look for it, and you have to desire it. Treasure is always buried. It's buried in the earth, and it takes effort to excavate it out. So when my Facebook account was taken away from me, my thoughts came to, okay, what good can come out of this? Well, you know what? I've never had anything to do with politicians or politics. And forcing me to reach out to the congressman's office, Ted Lieu's office, has already made an impact in my life. Not only did I get my Facebook account back, but I know of at least 2 other people who've now told me they need help getting their Facebook accounts back. Someone else I know is having a hard time locating some documents that she needs, some personal documents, and now I could tell her, hey, go see your congressman. So I'm telling you, if you have any issues or difficulties with passports, with Facebook accounts, and social media, having a hard time finding documents that you need, great place to go is the congressman's office. And that's a relief to know that our politicians are actually doing something for us. Like, I've never felt that individual attention from a politician before. And we always think they're too busy solving world crises, etc. But it turns out they do care about the individual constituents, which is so comforting and so great to know. So I'm very glad to have my Facebook account back. And Raphael and I attended a musical tonight, a one-woman show performance, which was so cool, by this 28-year young woman named Madeline Chalk, who is a comedian and a classically trained singer. She put on this fabulous and very entertaining one-woman musical in Santa Monica. And the overlying theme of the musical was go out every day and embarrass yourself, especially on social media. Embarrass yourself on social media. Be willing to embarrass yourself. And the superficial premise was that so that you can get likes, so that you can get followers, so you can take the chance of making that one video that's going to go viral. But the general theme behind that is, in life, we have to be willing to take risks. We've got to be willing to be embarrassed. And you've got to be okay with being embarrassed. Because that's how you mine that buried treasure. That's how you excavate that buried treasure. There are so many people who are made fun of, ridiculed for going out there, putting their dream out there. Walt Disney, to name one, he went to many different banks before he got financing for Disneyland. Can you imagine what our world would be like without Disneyland? It's such a big part of our culture and family life, and millions of children all over the world have enjoyed Disneyland for many, many years. That's just one example. The Wright brothers, who had the idea that they could fly a plane. Well, people thought they were insane. But they kept persisting, and lo and behold, now we take flights every single day, millions of flights all the time, safer even than driving cars. And we don't think twice about it. But at one time, the thought of flight was just an idea in someone's head. And this has happened just so many times. Thomas Edison inventing the telephone. Oh wait, that wasn't Thomas Edison. Alexander Graham Bell. Alexander Graham Bell. I think that was him. Or Thomas Edison. Now I'm getting confused. But Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone. Wow, what if we could talk to each other through a device? And he kept persisting, and people thought he was crazy. And I'm sure he was embarrassed, and I'm sure people tried to talk him out of it, but his belief in himself and in his dream was so great, he kept persisting until he broke through and mined that buried treasure. So when we have an inkling of a dream, an inkling of a thought, something that would be cool, that we could see ourselves doing, that's God talking to us. It is our job to shovel and dig and excavate and mine that dream to reality. Get it out of darkness, out of the dirt. Dig it up, get it into reality. And this is our job. That's our part. God puts the dream and the desire in our heads, and it is our part to take the action to mine it, make it a manifestation, manifest it into reality. And a lot of people are afraid of failure. I'm a professional failure. I've been failing for 28 years, trying to get ill from a devastating illness. The amount of times that I have failed is stunning, even to me. And these were catastrophic failures. Catastrophic failures, which will take too much time to talk about right now, but fasting for weeks at a time to try and get better, only to have the fast end prematurely and my goal not reached. And breaking a fast prematurely is exceedingly hard on your body and on your spirit and on your mentality. Very, very difficult to go through. And I did that time after 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 time. So many times I tried the healing regimens prescribed by certain health practitioners. I'm not going to say doctors because most of them were not traditional medical doctors, but some of them were. Tried with all my hope. Yeah, some of them were medical doctors. With all my hope and trust. And I followed their protocols for weeks, months, even years at a time. Nothing. Spent so much money, a ridiculous amount of money, just throwing money at this illness. Throwing money, every penny. Nothing. And that wasn't even the big failures. The big failures, the ones that really hurt, were the ones I worked really hard for and failed personally and really thought that the logic was sound of the protocol that I was trying, the Gerson therapy. The logic's so sound. Couldn't get it done with that, although it did help me a lot. And all these healing modalities did help me a lot. Well, they did help me learn. They all helped me learn what doesn't work. Like Alexander Graham Bell or Thomas Edison, whoever it was who invented the telephone. Thomas Edison invented the light bulb. Okay, Thomas Edison invented the light bulb. And they say, the story goes that it took him like 2,000 tries to do it. And someone once said to him, a news reporter or something, aren't you embarrassed that you've tried to make a light bulb 2,000 times and you failed every single time? And Thomas Edison said, I didn't fail. I simply learned 2,000 ways that didn't work. And this is crucially important when we're in the process of trying to make our dreams a reality. All you're learning is ways that didn't work. It's the process of trial and elimination, which is crucially important if you're a scientist trying to reach a logical conclusion. You have to know what doesn't work. And if you finally eliminate all the ways that don't work, you're going to get to the way that works. And only the most persistent and diligent and faithful of us get to that point. It's so crucial to never give up, even if it takes decades, even if it takes a lifetime. If the dream is worth pursuing, if it's worth having, it's worth any amount of sacrifice. That's another belief I've always held. It doesn't matter how long it takes, how hard it is to get. If it's worth it to you, if the value is worth it to you, then it's worth any sacrifice. And for me to have a fit, well-functioning body with strong nerves and clean blood and strong cells and a lymphatic system that squeezes on demand and nerves that transmit messages and intestines that have a thick epithelial layer on them of cells on them and tight junctions, so they call them tight junctions in your intestines so that there's no leaky gut, and marrow in your bones, and ligaments that are strong, and fertility, and clear thinking, and a cardiovascular system from hell with blood vessels as wide as highways and low blood pressure so that you can just pump and pump and pump and run and swim and bike till you're exhausted and your body can take it and your mind can take it, and a full head of hair and eyes that can see clearly, ears that can hear clearly. That is worth any amount of sacrifice to me. Because it's only when your physical body is functioning at full capacity that you can feel the capacity of spiritual joy. It's only when your physical body is performing at its highest level that you can feel the maximum amount of spiritual joy. This is not to say that you can't feel spiritual joy without physical health, because indeed you can, because our spirit and our bodies are separate. You can absolutely feel joy and happiness in your spirit if your body is cancer-ridden, but it's a lot easier if it's not. It's much easier and quicker to reach that pinnacle emotional feeling fantastic if your body is functioning the way it's supposed to be. And for me, that's a worthy goal to have, a worthy goal, and I've been pursuing it my whole life. Well, for the last 28 years. But even before then, I've always been obsessed with physical fitness, even since I was a little kid. I've always been obsessed with physical fitness. It's the way God made me. I remember in 7th grade, I was giving a speech about physical fitness to my class, And even then, I just thought it was the coolest thing ever. Wanted to be a great athlete. But I've never been athletically gifted. Never been a fast runner, never been fast, never had the gift of speed. Never been exceptionally adroit with the hand-eye coordination. Sucked at volleyball. I love basketball, but I never learned the skills to be good at it. It wasn't until I was the age of 24 that I discovered lifting weights and competitive bodybuilding. And the mental mindset that needs to go along with that, and the dieting, the pre-contest dieting. And I have the self-discipline and willpower and desire and know-how to be good at that particular sport. And I love the feeling, the high intensity feeling of pushing weights until you want to cry. It's, for me, the best feeling in the world. It's the best feeling in the world to push with your muscles a weight until you can't do it anymore and you're crying and screaming in pain. And then the 5 days afterwards, when you're so sore you can't even sit on the toilet, it's bliss, it's heaven. Oh, I'm ecstatic. So I found my sport. Long story short, God puts these dreams in our heart. He makes us this way. We're each born with them, and it's our duty to see them out. It's our duty to see them out. Jesus said that men should be anxiously engaged in a good cause, bring to pass, using our free will to bring to pass much righteousness. Men should be anxiously engaged in a good cause, and using their free will to bring to pass much righteousness. I paraphrase that, but that's a scripture from the Doctrine and Covenants. I love that Jesus said that. We should all be anxiously engaged, not just engaged, anxiously engaged. That means the clock is ticking, baby. The clock is ticking. We're only here for 120, 150 years. Clock is ticking. Clock is ticking. What are we going to do with that time? Life on this earth is short. People are leaving every day. We're still here. We're still here. Let's make something happen. Move the needle, baby. I'm out.